Margaret sat alone in her cozy living room, the soft hum of classical music filling the air. The walls were adorned with photographs capturing moments from a life well lived. Her wedding day, family gatherings, vacations with her late husband, Robert. Since his passing 5 years ago, Margaret had settled into a predictable routine, finding solace in her books, gardening, and the occasional visit from her daughter, Emily. One crisp autumn afternoon, the doorbell rang, interrupting her thoughts. She wasn't expecting anyone. Opening the door, she found a young man, no older than 25, holding a package. "Good afternoon, ma'am. Delivery for Margaret Thompson," he said, flashing a warm smile. "Yes, that's me," Margaret replied, returning the smile. "I wasn't expecting a delivery today. It's from a local bookstore," he explained, glancing at the label. "Perhaps a gift." Margaret's eyes lit up. Emily must have sent her the latest novel by her favorite author. "Thank you, Alex," he supplied. "Just doing my rounds in the neighborhood." "Well, thank you, Alex. Have a lovely day," Margaret said, taking the package. Over the next few weeks, Margaret noticed an increase in her online orders. Each time Alex was the one delivering them. Their interactions grew from polite exchanges to friendly conversations. Alex would comment on her well-tended garden, and Margaret would inquire about his studies. She learned that he was working part-time to support his education in literature, a subject close to her heart. One rainy afternoon, Alex arrived drenched, holding a soggy package. "Oh dear, you're soaked. Come in, let me get you a towel," Margaret insisted. "I wouldn't want to impose," Alex hesitated. "Nonsense. You'll catch your death out there," she chided gently. Alex stepped inside, dripping water onto the hardwood floor. Margaret handed him a towel and motioned for him to sit by the fireplace. "Would you like some tea?" she offered. "That would be lovely, thank you," Alex replied, warming his hands by the fire. As the rain poured outside, they sat together, sipping tea and sharing stories. Margaret spoke of her late husband, their travels, and her love for classical literature. Alex shared his aspirations of becoming a writer and his struggles balancing work and studies. "You remind me of Robert," Margaret said softly. "He had the same passion for literature." Alex smiled. "He sounds like he was a remarkable man." "He was," Margaret agreed, a distant look in her eyes. From that day on, their bond deepened. Alex would often linger after his deliveries, discussing books, music, and life. Margaret found herself looking forward to his visits, her days brightened by his youthful enthusiasm. One evening, as the sun set, casting a golden hue over the room, Alex arrived with a package heavier than usual. "What's this?" Margaret inquired. "A collection of classic novels," Alex replied. "I thought you might enjoy them." Margaret's eyes widened. "But I didn't order these." "I know," Alex said, a hint of shyness in his voice. "It's a gift. To thank you for all the wonderful conversations." Touched, Margaret felt a warmth she hadn't experienced in years. "That's incredibly kind of you, Alex." "Thank you." They sat together, unpacking the books, discussing each title with fervor. Hours passed unnoticed, the connection between them growing stronger. As winter approached, their meetings became more frequent. Alex would bring over rare books, and Margaret would prepare dinner, their evenings filled with laughter and shared stories. Despite the age difference, they found a companionship that defied societal norms. One snowy evening, as they sat by the fire, Alex reached out, taking Margaret's hand in his. "Margaret," he began, his voice trembling slightly. "These past months have been extraordinary. You've become such an important part of my life." Margaret's heart raced, a mix of joy and apprehension swirling within her. "Alex, I cherish our time together more than words can express." "But," Alex squeezed her hand gently, "I know there's a significant age difference, and I understand the complications it brings. But I can't deny how I feel." Tears welled up in Margaret's eyes. "Oh, Alex, I haven't felt this alive in years. But I'm afraid of what others might think. Of what my daughter might say. We don't have to define anything right now, Alex assured her. Let's just enjoy what we have, one day at a time. Margaret nodded, a tear escaping down her cheek. Alex brushed it away tenderly, leaning in to press a soft kiss to her forehead. In that moment, age was but a number, and love, in its purest form, blossomed between them. Margaret and Alex's connection deepened with each passing day. Their shared love for literature and music became the foundation of their growing bond. They spent countless evenings discussing novels, analyzing characters, and debating plot twists. Margaret introduced Alex to classical compositions, while Alex shared contemporary pieces, bridging the generational gap between them. One evening, as they sat in Margaret's living room, the soft strains of a piano concerto playing in the background, Alex turned to her with a thoughtful expression. "Margaret, have you ever considered writing your own stories?" he asked. She chuckled softly. "Oh, Alex, that was a dream of mine many years ago. Life had other plans." "Well, it's never too late," Alex encouraged. "I think you have a wealth of experiences that could inspire many." Margaret's eyes sparkled with a mix of nostalgia and curiosity. "Perhaps you're right. Maybe it's time to revisit that dream." Their conversations often ventured into personal territories. Margaret shared tales of her youth, her marriage to Robert, and the challenges she faced as a young woman in a rapidly changing world. Alex, in turn, opened up about his struggles with his parents' expectations, his passion for writing, and the uncertainty of his future. One chilly evening, after a particularly engaging discussion about a novel they both admired, Alex hesitated before speaking. "Margaret, there's something I've been meaning to tell you," he began, his voice tinged with apprehension. She looked at him, concern evident in her eyes. "What is it, Alex?" He took a deep breath. "I've been offered a scholarship to study abroad. It's a fantastic opportunity, but, Margaret prompted gently. "But it would mean being away for 2 years, he finished, his gaze searching hers for a reaction. Margaret felt a pang in her chest, a mixture of pride and sadness. "Alex, that's wonderful news. You mustn't let anything hold you back." "I know, but our friendship means a lot to me," he admitted. "And it means a great deal to me as well," Margaret replied, her voice soft. "But you have your whole life ahead of you. Opportunities like this don't come often." Alex reached out, taking her hand in his. "I don't want to lose what we have." Margaret squeezed his hand gently. "We'll always have our memories, Alex. And who knows? Perhaps our paths will cross again in the future." As the days passed, they continued to spend time together, cherishing each moment. They attended local literary events, visited art galleries, and even collaborated on a short story, blending their perspectives into a seamless narrative. One afternoon, while walking through a park adorned with autumn leaves, Alex paused, turning to Margaret. "Margaret, there's something I've been wanting to do," he said, a hint of nervousness in his voice. She raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "And what's that?" Without a word, Alex pulled out a small leather-bound notebook from his bag. "I've been writing poems inspired by our time together. I'd like to share them with you." Margaret's heart swelled with emotion. "I'd be honored, Alex." They found a bench beneath a towering oak tree, and Alex began to read. His words painted vivid pictures of their shared moments, capturing the essence of their unique bond. Tears glistened in Margaret's eyes as he finished. "Alex, these are beautiful. You have a true gift." He smiled, a mixture of relief and joy evident on his face. "Thank you, Margaret. Your support means the world to me." As Alex's departure date approached, they both felt the weight of impending separation. Margaret busied herself with her writing, drawing inspiration from their experiences, while Alex prepared for his new journey. On their last evening together, they sat in Margaret's living room, the familiar strains of classical music enveloping them. They reminisced about their time together, laughing at shared jokes and reflecting on the profound impact they'd had on each other's lives. "Promise me you'll keep writing," Alex said, his voice thick with emotion. "I promise," Margaret replied, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "And you must promise to chase your dreams with all your heart." "I will," he vowed. As they embraced, both knew that their connection was rare and precious. Though their paths were diverging, the bond they'd formed would forever remain a cherished chapter in their lives. Margaret's life settled into a quiet rhythm after Alex's departure. She immersed herself in her writing, drawing inspiration from their shared moments and the emotions they had awakened within her. Her garden flourished under her care, each blooming flower a testament to her renewed zest for life. Months passed, and Margaret received occasional letters from Alex, detailing his experiences abroad. His words painted vivid pictures of new cultures, academic challenges, and personal growth. Margaret cherished these letters, reading them multiple times and finding comfort in their connection, even across the miles. One sunny afternoon, while tending to her roses, Margaret heard a familiar voice call out her name. She turned to see Emily, her daughter, approaching with a warm smile. "Mom, it's been too long," Emily exclaimed, embracing her mother tightly. Margaret returned the hug, her heart swelling with love. "Indeed it has. How have you been, dear?" As they settled on the porch with glasses of iced tea, Emily glanced around, noticing the subtle changes in her mother's demeanor and surroundings. "Mom, you seem different. Happier, more vibrant," Emily observed. Margaret smiled softly. "I've found new passions, Emily. Writing, gardening, and reconnecting with old dreams." Emily's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "That's wonderful. I'd love to read some of your work." Margaret hesitated for a moment before nodding. "Perhaps someday. There's still a work in progress." As the days turned into weeks, Emily visited more frequently, each time noticing the positive changes in her mother's life. Margaret's stories began to take shape, reflecting her journey of self-discovery and the profound impact of her bond with Alex. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the garden, Margaret sat at her desk, penning the final chapter of her manuscript. Her heart felt light, her spirit rejuvenated. The story she had written was not just a tale of love and loss but a testament to resilience and the beauty of unexpected connections. With a deep breath, Margaret penned the last sentence, feeling a sense of accomplishment wash over her. She knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in her life, one filled with endless possibilities and the promise of new adventures. Margaret's life had settled into a tranquil routine. She spent her mornings tending to her flourishing garden, the vibrant blooms reflecting her inner rejuvenation. Afternoons were dedicated to her writing, where she poured her heart into stories inspired by her own journey of self-discovery. Evenings were reserved for quiet reflection, often accompanied by the soothing melodies of classical music that filled her home. One crisp autumn morning, as Margaret sat at her writing desk, she received an unexpected letter. The envelope bore the emblem of a renowned publishing house. With trembling hands, she opened it to find an offer to publish her manuscript. The editor praised her poignant storytelling and the depth of her characters, expressing confidence that her book would resonate with many readers. Overwhelmed with emotion, Margaret felt a sense of fulfillment she hadn't experienced in years. The journey she had embarked upon, sparked by her connection with Alex, had led her to this remarkable milestone. She immediately thought of sharing the news with Emily, who had been a steadfast supporter throughout her creative endeavor. That evening, Emily arrived at her mother's home, greeted by the aroma of freshly baked bread and the warmth of the hearth. Margaret handed her the letter, her eyes shimmering with unspoken joy. Emily read the letter, her face lighting up with pride. "Mom, this is incredible. I'm so proud of you." Margaret smiled, tears of happiness brimming in her eyes. "I couldn't have done it without your encouragement, dear." As the seasons changed, Margaret's book underwent the final stages of editing and preparation for publication. She worked closely with the editorial team, ensuring that her narrative remained authentic and true to her vision. The process was both exhilarating and challenging, but Margaret embraced every moment, grateful for the opportunity to share her story with the world. The day of the book launch arrived, and Margaret found herself standing before an audience at a local bookstore. Friends, family, and members of the community had gathered to celebrate her achievement. Emily stood by her side, beaming with pride. Margaret read an excerpt from her book, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. The audience listened intently, captivated by her words. After the reading, attendees lined up to have their copies signed. Among them was a familiar face, Alex. He had returned from his studies abroad and had come to surprise her on this momentous occasion. Margaret's heart swelled with joy as she embraced him. "Alex, I can't believe you're here." Alex smiled warmly. "I wouldn't miss this for the world, Margaret. Your book is a testament to your incredible journey." Their reunion was filled with heartfelt conversations and shared memories. Alex spoke of his experiences abroad, the knowledge he had gained, and the stories he had written. Margaret shared her own growth, the fulfillment she found in writing, and the joy of seeing her work published. As the evening drew to a close, Margaret reflected on the path her life had taken. The unexpected friendship with a young delivery boy had blossomed into a profound connection that transcended age and convention. It had ignited a passion within her, leading her to rediscover herself and achieve dreams she had long forgotten. In the months that followed, Margaret and Alex continued their friendship, collaborating on literary projects and supporting each other's endeavors. Their bond, forged through shared passions and mutual respect, remained a cornerstone in both their lives. Margaret's story became an inspiration to many, demonstrating that it's never too late to pursue one's dreams and that meaningful connections can emerge in the most unexpected ways. Her journey was a testament to resilience, the transformative power of friendship, and the enduring human spirit's capacity for growth and renewal.